we understand that third parties are going away and we have to do first party data. I think the biggest struggle is like, how do we use that data, right? How do we leverage the data? And I think, you and I both say data means nothing without action, right? So, and I think I've seen it in the past where a lot of people talk about data, but they never show you how they use the data or how it can help your business, how it can make you smarter. And it's kind of like a big buzzword. So let's assume that I am a garage door and window company, right? And I want to leverage my first party data. I'm a national, garage door window. I want to leverage my first party data to grow sales and business. Like, how would I, like, what is the first step? How am I collecting that data? Then once I get it, where does it stay? And then what do I do with that data once I have it collected?
Sure. So a couple different steps, right? First step might be that window and garage company needs to either through their agency or them on their own, depending on kind of how their marketing arm works, needs to invest in a technology service that transforms those cookie audiences into households, right? So yes, I have my, people who bought window services from before and, updated the garage in the last 2-3 years, but what about other sources of data, right? So what they need to do is say, okay, great, let's invest in a technology service. Full Throttle is one of the, companies that does that, convert those audiences into households. And then step 2 is, okay, I got the list. I have the best possible list that I could possibly have, right? I can segment that down to say, here's what they looked at. Here's the people I want to focus on, down to household. And then I need to find ways to activate that data. Now, it is not super easy to find the pipes and the tactics available to say, if I have a list, besides direct mail, which is kind of, if you have addresses, mostly anyone can do direct mail, right? Besides direct mail, do things like video, audio, display, social, all focused around, household driven data, not very easy to do. So step 2 is find sources for that. Again, what Full Throttle has done is we knew that this would be an issue. So we created both the means to transform those audiences into household data, and Full Throttle also created all of the pipes and integrations. So if you wanted to activate that data with podcast audio inventory with iHeart, boom, you can do it very fast. You can do that with Effective and Comcast. You can even do that with Spectrum and Charter. Typically, these places are hard to transact. Full Throttle is fully integrated into the Amazon API, so you can do that with Amazon audiences, and you can do good old display, direct mail type of thing. But it's really important that once you have a great list and you segment and really say, this is who I want to focus on in that list, that you try to immerse the household in as many tactics as you can, right? So if you have a set of, let's just call it 10,000 households out of 100,000 that you identified, that, they're the ones that looked at the most garages out of everyone. Like, these people, they're going to get a garage pretty soon, right? It's important that as an agency, as a brand or an agency on the brand's behalf, we say, how do we immerse that household who's currently considering, these garages, when they hear and when they listen to audio and podcasts, when they watch TV, whether it's on their set-top box, on their family room, or it's on a streaming, right, on their laptop, or any kind of display or social, we're constantly explaining to them why, our client, or as a brand, our brand is the best source and best place why they should do, why they should choose those garage upgrade services. So those are a couple ways, to do it. People often then ask the next step, like, well, how do you know it worked? And the kind of beauty in starting with first party data is that you have the list, who they were, and if they bought garage upgrades, who bought garage upgrades. So you can compare that to the list you use and say, wow, that actually, here's how much of that list I was able to convert. So it's kind of like, for some of the old school marketers on here, it's kind of like, direct response, right? In the way that it always was with direct mail and email, it was hard to do that in the digital age. But what we're doing after kind of going full circle with cookies and all this other stuff, now we're coming back to a place where you can still do direct response. And that allows you to see, exactly what kind of return you're getting on the marketing that you're doing.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Now, you also mentioned, gathering the list of people that have already transacted and things like that. I mean, and you also mentioned early on about the first party data famine, right? So we know we need first party. The problem is there's not a lot of it. The cool thing about Full Throttle at the same time, not only can you use the list and the customers that you already have, it also does a good job of helping you build more first party data because of the de-anonymization factor within the technology. So we're actually able to bring conquest audiences to people in your website and build additional lists of people that haven't even transacted with you. Isn't that correct? And that's one way to help build and enrich that first party data.